And now for something completely different.
I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch!
Oh, that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, Bojack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.
God, dude, I still like that song. It is so catchy. All right, well, hello, anyone and everyone who's watching / listening. We are a bunch of weirdos that like to kind of watch TV shows, and we decided to get together and start a new show called No Time to Binge, where what we do is we watch just the first episode of something, and then just the last episode of something, and then just try to figure out what happens in the middle. And what we're doing this time is the Netflix original series called Centaurworld, which is an incredibly weird and slightly disturbing, passionately annoying, and one of the coolest shows that I've watched. So to help figure out what may or may not have happened in the middle of this, I got some friends here. So first and foremost, B,
Hey.
How are you, my friend?
I feel like I'm hungover, but I didn't drink.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Well, you look great. You do sound a little jet lagged, but I'm sure that's fine. That's
holy shit.
not a big deal. So B, what is your experience with centaurs and the world they're from?
This show. I actually I've never had an interest in centaurs as a mythical beast, which is kind of a weird sentence to say now that I said it out loud.
So as far as beasts go, it is on the bottom of your tier, the centaur.
Everyone has a favorite mythical beast, and if you say you don't, you're a liar, and I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out how much not liars these other two gentlemen are. So next we have handsome for 8 seconds. Sounds like a beautiful bull ride. Mr. Michael Colby, how are you, sir?
Oh, super duper. I'm ready to talk about Centaurworld. It was
Centaurworld.
A little bit more singing than I usually like in my entertainment, but for some reason I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, when I found this show, I knew / didn't know that it was a musical. You know, you watch the first episode, you're like, there's a lot of singing in this. And then you watch, or for me, I watched the second episode, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of singing in this episode too. And I'm like, oh, this is actually a musical. So I think this is the first musical we've done. Oh, I guess Glee.
Glee, yeah.
The first good musical we've done, which is
we have to talk about Glee.
Yeah, probably Twin Peaks, actually.
It's the ghost that haunts us.
So Mr. Handsome for 8 seconds. Prove be right. And what is your favorite mythical beast?
The Minotaur.
Oh,
the good one.
Minotaur. I love Minotaur. There's something about the human the human half of a half beast, half human thing.
Yeah.
Because the bull head is a big heavy head. So for a human body to be able to support that, it just always did something for my imagination.
Yeah.
And he's got that big axe and he kills people who can't solve his maze. What's not to like?
Literally nothing. But the Minotaur is almost like the opposite of the centaur, right? It's the other kind of. But don't you think that it should have 2 hooves for hands and then feet instead of actual human hands and feet? That seems like if the centaurs get the human hands and the Minotaur get the human hands, I think the opposed both. I don't know. It just doesn't seem fair.
I've seen them with cloven hooves.
Oh,
so sometimes they get the bottom.
Yeah,
the legs and head of a bull with the torso of a human.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's the Minotaur I can get behind.
Yeah. Figuratively and literally. All right, up next, we have at least half human and the other half is my very best friend. I got Mr. Dylan Terry, half friend, half human. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Doing all right.
Yeah.
So Centaurworld, how much of an effect did this make on your life?
I watched both episodes twice, actually, because I was completely surprised at what it was.
Yeah. I watched them both twice too.
Yeah.
Dude.
But you gave Zach, you told me a little bit about it before we watched it. I think you brought this up between you and I at one point, very briefly.
Yeah, I stumbled upon this, and I think the next day at work, I'm like, dude, you gotta watch this thing.
And I had kind of the same immediate reaction where I was surprised at the animation.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, it's very, very sharp outlines, very kind of like brighter colors than I expected. And then, of course, the animation shift. And I knew it was a musical kind of going in, but I like the musical. Like, they appeal. I like the music, the pieces. They're very poppy. They are very like top 20 network TV songs, but they're at least like catchy. I could imagine like I didn't feel like I needed to skip the songs in these episodes.
Right. And also the animation's so weird going on that you kind of are just like into it because it's part of it. But for those that don't know, Centaurworld is an American animated musical comedy streaming television series created by Megan Nicole Dong with the songs by Dong. They also made the songs themselves. Produced by Sketch Shark Productions and Netflix Animation. It premiered July 30th this year, 2021. And it follows a warhorse who is transported from her embattled world to a strange land inhabited by vibrant singing centaurs of all species, shapes, and sizes. Michael Colby.
Yeah.
Episode 1. Give it to me. What happens in episode 1?
Okay. So we start off and we think we're watching an episode of The Legend of Korra because Korra is riding this horse. They get to their village. The horse gets spooked. Korra sings this beautiful song to the horse to calm the horse down. Then they're like, all right, we have to get to our village. And then the village is on fire. They don't know where anybody is. There is a kind of amazing sequence where these like monster things,
they're like orcs,
are up on the hills, and like some of them have one eye and some of them have like 5 eyes, and they're all like very strange. And then they all start sliding down the cliffs while they're like riding ahead of them, and it's really cool. And then they're trying to protect this thing. It's like a part. You can tell that it's part of something.
It's like a horseshoe amulet.
Yeah, it's like And then the orcs are about to get it, and the horse runs. The horse grabs the amulet, falls off the cliff, and then we see the strongest human that you'll ever see holding a horse up a cliff by this amulet. And then the horse falls, and the rider is about to get eaten by orcs. But then the horse wakes up. The horse is in this very strange place with just maybe my favorite cartoon character of all time is this giraffe centaur.
Oh my God.
And things get weird from there. We sing some more songs. We find out that that the place that they are is protected by a dome that they can't get out of, and nothing else can get into because apparently some shit's going on. And then we find out that if you have magic, you can get out of the dome. We get out of the dome, and that's the end of the first episode.
So weirdly cool. And just so you know, the one you're talking about, the centaur you're talking about, their name is Wamawink, which is a motherly alpaca-like centaur. Just so that you know.
Well, just no. The giraffe one is my favorite one. The one with like the very flat face, and he's just like, they're just like screaming and like running around.
Yeah.
And then I forget, but he says one word and I laughed so hard.
Yeah. I like when like you see him the first time, it's like,
Yeah.
He's like crooks his neck. Oh, it's such a weird show. B, what did you, I'm not sure if you liked this show. So what was your takeaway from episode 1?
This is the weirdest episode of My Little Pony I've ever seen. No, I was intrigued. I was confused, a little bit scared, maybe a little angry too.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will tell you, in episode 4, there is a very blatant JoJo reference. So
wait, no, seriously?
Yep. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it is very obvious, and I need you to chuck through this series and figure it out. Okay, Dylan.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
We have this. We have a show where we're kind of following a horse, really, that's looking to be enslaved, if anything else. Like, it really just it wants its rider back, right? It wants its normal life, and now it can talk, which is weird, and it can sing, and it can hate other things with hooves. Now, what did you expect to happen after this? Like, what was your thought process of where this show was going to go?
Moderately lighthearted fantasy romp with a lot of slapstick and some heart.
All right. Now we're going to hop to the end of the series, which is it's actually a 2-parter called The Rift. And we were challenged to watch just the very last episode, which would have been number 10, part 2. Now, tell me what happens in the last episode of this thing.
So we start in I think we start in a white void. And there is a deep-voiced entity represented by a black cloud of ink and a deer skull with massive antlers, and it is creepy.
It's a Dark Souls boss.
It's a Dark Souls boss, absolutely. And it's talking about being free, and it is threatening, I believe, horse and a rider. They are now reunited. And the rest of the centaurs show up. Ooh,
what?
No, don't worry about it. I'm monitoring the chat a little bit. Whoa, we're getting spammed.
Oh
no.
Blocking them. Cool.
Oh no.
No, zero tolerance on that. So
that is yucky.
Yeah. So it's this Dark Souls boss called the Nowhere King. We cut outside. A bunch of centaurs are talking to a woman who is very clearly like a sorceress or a magician of some sort, singing about how they are not going to let them unlock the void. There's a little bit of contention between them, but eventually they do get in because the kleptomaniac centaur stole the key from her in her stomach portal. I'm like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
They go in and they get completely overwhelmed by the Nowhere King. Completely outmatched. They fight a bit. Water Baby, the shaman, shows up. There's some fighting going on, some power of friendship songs and stuff like that. And eventually the sorceress shows back up and is like, I'm gonna do this. I think she says she resolves to do it, quote unquote. It's clear that she has a history with the Nowhere King. Nowhere King gets defeated. In order to build an army, horse stays behind, rider doesn't, or I think that was kind of the general trend of the conversation, is that they're going to separate again on their own terms. And then the end, ... question mark, because the skull of the Nowhere King activates or whatever.
Right. So it goes from being very lighthearted to very
fighting. The conflict against the Nowhere King is not presented as lighthearted whatsoever. It is wrapping people up and turning the light out. And when I think it's when Water Baby goes back into the portal after leaving, and the portal has been completely enshrouded in darkness, and everybody's begging her to help. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This took a dramatic tonal shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately they wind up winning. But Yeah.
So now, for the record, season 2 has not been announced yet. They have not put out there that there is another season of this. So for the most part, we can assume that this is going to be an encapsulated story. Now, Michael, we saw the Nothing King. The Nothing King? Is that what it's called?
Nowhere King.
The Nowhere King. Oh, what a cool name. Nowhere King. Obviously, not in episode 1. Now, how do you think the Nowhere King popped into this story?
Well, the Nowhere King is a... I mean, at the end, after they defeat him, this like goop all sucks up into a deer skull, like a moose skull thing. So I think that the skull itself is the actual creature, and the goop is just how it gets around.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that this skull was one of the things that Spencer was using in iCarly to make like some sort of robot sculpture.
Yeah.
But the thing is that there are these two portals that bind Centaurworld and the world that Korra is from. So I'm assuming there are other portals that are happening. So one goes to Earth, and it opened up. I think that Spencer actually like built a sculpture that ended up being a portal to this void area. The moose skull knocks in something from probably the Black Lodge. It got in there, and that was the goop. And then, and then we make a Dark Souls boss. I think it's just because this skull was watching Spencer play video games, and he's like, that's the form I'm going to take when I finally get a body.
Yeah, I will say that you are about 78% accurate on that. So pretty good.
Much better than I expected to be.
Yeah. B, we have a show that has a lot of weird half centaur things. We have like a half hummingbird. Throughout the season, you see a half sunfish. We also have a half mole, half alpaca. Throughout the season, what was in your opinion, the most disturbing of all of the centaurs?
Probably that very weirdly handsome bird thing. What was it like handsome for a minute or whatever?
Yeah.
handsome for 8 seconds.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, he is, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
It was a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I also want to say the Nowhere King. Okay, have you guys ever seen that show? Oh God, what is it? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. They play it around like Halloween sometimes.
Hocus Pocus.
No,
Sabrina.
Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden Wall. That's the one.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what was that thing called? The Unknown or whatever.
Yeah, the Beast.
Yeah,
I
the
think
Beast.
they just call it the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that so much. Looks just like it. So I feel like I kind of like the portal theory that you just had, and maybe that thing came from the Over the Garden Wall story.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so technically that is about 50% of the remaining percentage of what Michael's theory was. So yeah, you're getting closer. Yeah, you're now up to I think 80, 88. Now, Dylan, at the end of this season, obviously, so it leads into a cliffhanger. What do you think season 2 is going to start with?
I think it's going to... oh, man, that's a good question. I think we're going to get a prequel series to show how the Nowhere King was like the horse half of the sorceress. and they separated they separated from each other.
Yeah.
And one of them is like, this is the best for us. The other one is like, I don't know if we were ready to do this. And it's probably going to be this long, drawn-out character study on like what happens when a centaur breaks up with itself.
Yeah. I am so excited to watch that.
I am ready for a deep character study of this cartoon character in this wacky world. No singing, just lots of long, like, shots of him contemplating what like reality is and what it's like to be a sentient being.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement, but they fired the entire crew and brought on the crew of the Marriage Story. So
it's gonna be a lot more talky.
Yeah, punching holes in walls, that sort of thing.
Okay, Mr. 8 Seconds. Now, in any
please don't call me Mr. 8 Seconds.
I'm just trying to be cordial. Okay. Anyway,
we set yourself up for that.
Look, that was such a good joke. B left. Now, in any kind of animated show, it's obviously going to attract some children, and because of that fact, they're going to put a lot of filler episodes, half PSAs, just the monotony of other shows. What was your favorite filler episode of this season?
Well, luckily, this show did not do any of those PSA type, don't go into the refrigerator because you're going to get trapped in there and you're going to run out of air. But there was that one episode where the giraffe gets split off from the rest of the pack. And it's just like his normal day because he's very stupid. So he doesn't realize that he's separated. So the rest of the crew is looking for him, but he's just off doing his thing. There's a lot of masturbating in that one, which I don't know. Like, how many times a day can you do that?
Exactly 12.
I mean, it was 12. Yeah. But like he's doing it, into the river, he's doing it on the trees, and he's just like, and like the fish, like the fish lady and the little fish kid are just watching him. Like, it's really weird. I don't know. And the other ones are like frantically looking for him. They're like terrified because they know that this guy, he cannot live outside of there because he is way too stupid and he's just going to dehydrate himself from all the masturbating. So yeah, that one was weird, but like it was also funny to watch at the end when they had the one centaur that was like the half tree had to mop everything up. It was very good episode.
Well, thanks for filling in for Matt Tira this week with the absolute grossness. That's cool.
Here it is.
Now, B, horse gets transported most likely via teleportation from over the garden wall. And they go to Centaurworld, obviously. But what we don't know until the mid-season is why are the centaurs there? Now, why do you think the centaurs are in this area? Why is there Centaurworld?
So I think they all originally came from Ponyville. I think there was some kind of maybe like a Doctor Who situation because they have Dr. Hooves, and he did some timey-wimey shit. And
wait, did you say Dr. Hoof?
Hoof.
Yeah.
Dr. Hooves.
It's canon.
That's a character.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't watch Doctor Who.
Reference.
What's Doctor
yeah.
Hoof's? I'm sorry, I don't know this character, but what is Doctor Hoof's cutie mark?
I think it's like a watch or something. I'm not really sure. I don't remember because My Little Pony started to suck very quickly. But no, I think he did some timey-wimey shit, and he ripped the residents of Ponyville apart, and they got fused with something else, and that now we have Centaurworld. I think that's what, and I am so confident in that. I will fight anyone who disagrees. Physically.
The My Little Ponies got Cronenberged with some humans.
Yeah.
So are you
that's
saying
horrifying?
Are you saying that Centaurworld is a subtle way to revitalize the brony population?
I think so. I think that was their attempt at reviving it.
Well,
they're called Centonies.
Yeah. And they probably eat gabagool. Now, Dylan, this series has a load of songs, just a lot of songs, most of which are original songs. You have songs such as Tornado, Taur NATO. You have songs called I Steals So I Can Feels, and you also have songs like The Butt of the Joke with 2 T's. But what a lot of people who don't know the show knows is that there's a couple covers that they actually do throughout the season. And I'm curious, Dylan, being the music person, which of the covers was your favorite to hear a bunch of centaurs singing?
It was so weird to hear the centaurs break into Sadama Go-Go by Gwar. Like, I sat there watching like my TV, and I'm just like, A, cool. B, weird place to put it in the Exxon Valdez episode. C, like, I guess it sounds good if you arrange it for piano. Like, yeah, I don't know.
For sure. Yeah, it was also
like a weird mishmash episode. I didn't get it.
Yeah, it was stunning that they actually animated all those costumes and everything too.
Yeah.
Like, who'd have thought? And I guess with the current audience, they wouldn't even probably know Gwar. So this would sound like an original song. Okay, good answer.
Can I just say my least favorite was why do they have to put fucking Hotel California on everything?
Cheap.
It wasn't
It's
even
cheap.
I guess it is, but it wasn't even good being sung with the angelic voice of that horse. Like, I absolutely love the voice of that horse, but even that voice couldn't save fucking Hotel California.
Yeah, that entire episode was not good because that was the same one that they did the Boys from Summer, that song. I hate that song.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Kenny Chesney? No, it's like a Brian Adams song or something.
He sings about summer all the time. That's all he sings.
Boys of Summer?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Boys of Fall. That's a
Boys of Summer is fucking the guy from the Eagles. What's his face? Don something.
Henley, probably. I don't know.
Don Henley, yeah.
I hate that song.
Worst.
And I don't know why it's in everything. B.
Yeah.
Your favorite and or least favorite cover done by animated centaurs?
Probably Britney Spears' Toxic.
I'm going to disagree with you 100%. Favorite. Yep.
Jam, no matter who sings it. Like,
yeah.
You could get Elmo to sing that song and I would be down.
Yeah. It was also weird that they gave that centaur a snake centaur to wear while singing Toxic. That was interesting.
It was very strange, but not the strangest thing in that show.
It was cool placement though, because it was also in that Exxon Valdez episode. I think that was the one with the best songs.
Yeah.
That was a slick episode though, honestly.
Oh, Boo!
No, come on.
Wow.
Come on. That look, that was for the people in the cheap seats there. Now, Dylan, we have 10 episodes of this season. And there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot of color, a lot of songs, a lot of laughter, and a lot of love. A couple of these characters did hook up. Which on-screen hookup, not off-screen, which on-screen hookup was your favorite to watch?
I'm gonna get some flack for this from the audience, but it was the funeral orgy. It manages to ride the line between too sad and kind of sweet at the same time. Though it was weird to have all of the eulogies blame who's the bird? I can't remember the bird's name. But all the eulogies kind of pointedly talked about how it was his fault.
Yeah.
And then it just, one of them goes at the other and they're all together and it's like, all right, might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly,
the way that the kleptomaniac centaur used her stomach portal in that scene was both beautiful and disturbing.
I thought it was inspired.
Yeah, I never thought the act of weekend at Bernieing somebody could be erotic as much. So I'm really glad that entered my cranium, which is cool. Mr. 8 Seconds, I'm actually going to just send the same question over to you. Favorite hookup of all the centaurs?
Well, Dylan took mine. Because I think that was the obvious one, though.
That's the one they're going to submit to all the awards. That's the episode. You could tell that was the Oscar bait.
So I did think it was weird. There is that centaur. He only shows up in a couple of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Triceratops. But
Tricerator.
Yeah, Tricerator.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought, not a very inspired name, but probably, just a throwaway character. So
yeah, it's also weird having the bottom half of a Triceratops because no one even understands what that is.
Yeah. And then just the horns growing out of the wrong places, but that doesn't matter. I thought he was a very well-developed character.
Yeah.
But the sort of forbidden love between the Triceratops centaur and that leaf, I thought it was just so beautiful. And then just to have the Triceratops centaur try to eat the leaf afterwards, and then the leaf brutally just chokes it to death with the piano wire that it just had for some reason. I don't know where he got that from. It was
that was from the first date night from the 2 episodes prior where they were at that weird cigar lounge with the piano. Ooh. They snagged that.
I missed that.
All right, that's where he got that from. But I just maybe we didn't have to see the entire process of this centaur, of this Tricerator getting choked out. It was 6 minutes and it was gasping and it was horrible, pleading for its life. And it was like a Quentin Tarantino movie, but and that was that episode where they did the very realistic looking animation. So it was even more disturbing.
Honestly though, there's really no other way of doing an up-to-date representation of Bohemian Rhapsody other than I think being choked out. I think that is probably the best way to go over how that's. Hello, Jay Wavy. Can I play my new song? Yeah, of course. Sure. I will definitely play it in probably about 45-ish minutes. I would love to. Now, B, there are many battles that happen in this. Obviously, there's the orcs in the beginning that ravage the villages, and then the fight at the end. Now, throughout the series, there's a lot of just weird fighting and battling. What was some of your favorite fighting moments throughout this Centaur world?
So I think I really enjoyed when the 8-second bird, that's just what I'm gonna call him. I don't know his name. When he just like sucker punched that old lady.
Yeah.
I just listen. I just thought it was masterfully done. Like it was a beautiful scene. The violence wasn't like too much, but like it was just enough to make you a little sick. It was perfect. It was perfectly balanced. I loved it. I like the voice actor for the old lady. Like her scream was on point.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I thought, yeah, it was very fast, but the part that I thought was like so emotional was that they made the blood droplets into tiny hearts that then they ate it. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Cause like they're consuming emotion while also being aggressively violent, which is interesting. Now, Dylan, what were some of the questions you had throughout this season?
I wanted to know what Ryder was up to, because we leave her in the first episode and we don't see her again until part 2 of the finale with no build-up. And I'm like, did I miss something here?
Yeah.
Like, just shows up randomly. And Horse is, I mean, cool with it. But as an audience member, I wanted to know, like, what they were up to. Like,
yeah. Well, they weren't in Centaurworld. So
well, yeah.
That's where most of the story takes place.
Most of it, yeah. So there's room to go elsewhere.
Yeah. They're just looking for Horse.
I guess.
But Michael Colby.
Yeah.
Biggest questions you got?
I would like to know why that one episode that they picked where we just watched an episode of Golden Girls. I wonder why they picked that particular episode.
Yeah.
It seemed like it didn't really go. And then just at the end, the llama alpaca centaur just like showed up and was like, what are we doing here? And then they just like booked it and it didn't make any sense. And I'm like, this was a weird, because that was a part 2 of that Golden Girls 2-parter. And it's like, we don't know what's going on before that. I mean, I knew what was going on because I've watched the Golden Girls like 6 times through, but
right.
It, like, for these little kids who were watching this cartoon, it's like, why, like, did we switch to this show about old ladies? But we were trying to watch a cartoon about silly centaurs.
Right. But what a lot of people don't know, and when we were doing Centaurworld, I did a lot of research for this. And it turns out that specific episode of Golden Girls was actually the episode in which the writer-creator was conceived during that episode live. So that episode was really the crux of a lot of their emotional attachments to not only cartoons, but to old women and really horses, if you think about it. And the reason they chose the part 2 was because there was actually twins at that birth. But the second of the 2 twins was actually the better one. Hence the better of the 2-part episode. So very good question. I'm glad you picked up on that, because I was wondering if anybody was going to bring up the Golden Girls. Because once again, one of our new shows we're starting is this podcast a Golden Girls reference, where apparently there's a show JoJo that makes a lot of Golden Girls references.
Yeah.
So
that JoJo show is basically just the Golden Girls with handsome men characters.
It's really just Blanche's prequel story before she meets B. Arthur and her wild adventures of having her head cut off. Now, B.
Yeah.
What were some of your questions that you would have while consuming the bookends of Centaurworld?
Well, honestly, I thought it was all pretty self-explanatory, but I did really want to know the horse's pronouns, because I don't think that was ever addressed. I would like to know the horse's pronouns, please. Okay, thank you.
I think it was just horse.
Horse?
Yeah, it was just horse. There's no pronouns. It's just that's it.
So horse just identifies as horse. I see. Okay. I get it. All right. Valid.
Dylan, you SOB. I'm glad B did not hear that terrible joke.
What did you just say? No, I have to know. I want to know.
Go nay them.
What? That laugh came from nay them? But what is this show coming for?
Oh,
Oh boy, she is chugging down that Smirnoff. That's funny.
See, my pronouns are hey them.
Nay them. Sorry.
So they're
Nays.
hey them now.
Oh, hey them.
hey
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Hey them is chugging down some vodka. Okay, so I really think that this show is something without the joking aside. Now I have consumed all 10 episodes of this, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was shocked when it came on because it was like we've all said, the animation is beautiful. There's a lot of weird dark undertones, and then the fact that there's music in it makes it just kind of jarring because you're like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to like this or not. I don't know what's going on. But throughout the series, they really do a good job of touching very emotional and important topics, like, you know, the different forms of parenting and what to happen when someone in your group is no longer wanted in your group, and then also what happens when someone in your group does not want to be in your group anymore. You have people that fall in love, but they have a whole nother life, and it's a beautiful, really intriguingly awkward show, and I really hope that you would like to take some time and binge this. Quick episodes, but is there anything else about this episode or the season that any of you would like to talk about or throw up?
I don't want to throw up, but
I meant to the group to chat.
I did want to ask because there was, you know, the glitter party, whatever, magic, turning the main into a version of himself, you know, being handsome for 8 seconds, shooting small versions of themselves out of their hooves.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know what spells would be particular to you. Like only you have this spell.
Mm-hmm.
Zach.
Oh, okay. Well, so at first I would like to be able to shoot tiny bits of myself. But then, you know, as you see in that episode,
everyone seems to have that one. So if you were in Centaurworld, you're
right,
good.
You
have the ability to shoot small versions of yourself.
But here's the thing. I actually do not want that. Because those little things are also sentient, and that means that they are living a terrifying tiny life, which I do not want. Okay, so throughout the episode, a lot of magic does happen, but there is a part where Horse, their tail begins to talk. And their tail / butt talks to them, to other people for them. And I would love it if my butt could talk. I don't have a tail, so obviously my tail can't talk. But I would get such a kick out of having a magical talking butt.
B.
Okay, I just learned something about you. Good to know. I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit more just from that. Yeah.
Just from the talking butt.
Yeah.
Just from you know what? That's all I need to know. I want
to be both people in a ventriloquist act and have no one understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. But I guess I would need my hand up my own butt then.
I don't think you need to have your hand up your own butt.
Hey! This is my show, pal. The ventriloquist show, not this.
Yeah.
The ventriloquist show. Yeah.
That's not what I meant. I didn't say you couldn't have your hand up your own butt. I said you didn't need to have your hand up your own butt.
Well, okay, so it's like the equivalent of drinking water for the talker of the ventriloquist. It's like if I don't know, I got nothing really. I just feel like a ventriloquist has to have their hand up somebody's something.
By definition,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Maybe I don't. I don't know.
What spell is just yours? Like you're the only one in Centaurworld who has this spell.
Probably be handsome forever. That's my magic.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also can't argue with you. So
yeah.
Dylan.
Zach stole my answer.
No, I didn't.
You just
No,
wanted to be. You just wanted
No,
to
I
be an
didn't.
Ace Ventura.
I don't want to be. Ace
Not with
Ventura.
my hands.
Oh, not with your you're not making the butt talk. The butt.
No. It just has its own vocal cords.
Okay.
Oh.
Now
And
your butt mouth, does it have teeth?
No.
And can it taste?
Yeah. Okay, that's my
No.
power. I want my.
No.
No. Never mind.
It has no taste buds.
Okay, good.
No teeth, but it can form every letter of most alphabets.
But it sounds like an old man because it has no teeth.
Yeah, it's very gummy sounding.
So, Dylan, your power is that your butt does have taste buds? Is that
Teeth.
what I heard you say?
Just teeth.
Oh, just teeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has whatever the butt version of vagina dentata is.
Oh, God. That might make. Well, I'm not. Yeah.
Nope.
I don't want to get too blue, but that might make some bathroom experiences a little bit easier.
That's true. Honestly.
What does this show become?
I don't know. I couldn't think of more questions to ask about this, so we're just gonna move on. Okay, so
I
go
do
ahead.
have a question though.
Yeah.
Does the butt thing just like keep coming back? Is that just a thing throughout the show?
No, it happens in like one episode and then it kind of goes away.
Okay, 'cause there was butts all over
There's
the opening.
Oh yeah, well,
lot of
butts are
butts.
funny. Now
Okay.
the weird thing is throughout the season, Horse changes the way they look and becomes more cartoony, kind of like plumper. And then when they meet up with Ryder, Ryder doesn't recognize Horse, and now Horse can talk to Ryder, and then Ryder is just like, all right, I guess this is my life now. What do we got to do? This show's very, very interesting. So my very last question is, Dylan, will you make time to binge this show?
Yeah. We had to we delayed this episode for a little schedule change for behind the scenes, and I was bummed because I was like, I'm gonna go through this. It's only 10 episodes or half an hour.
Yeah.
Each. I'll just blow through this in an afternoon. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and revisit this.
B, are you gonna make some time to binge this, knowing there's a JoJo reference in there somewhere?
Absolutely. That's all you had to tell me. That was
Okay.
all. Like
should've
this show could have been like about watching paint dry, and like you could just be like, "There's a JoJo reference," and I'd be like, "All right, I'm in."
All right, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Mr. 8 Seconds,
Yes.
is this a bingeable show for you?
Yes. Unfortunately, I only have until the 15th of next month of my free preview of Showtime. So I have to finish watching Twin Peaks: The Return before I can binge this. But yes, I'm definitely going to watch the rest of this. Like I said, despite the fact that it had a bunch of singing in it, and it just looks so weird, and there is enough butt references. I do enjoy a good butt joke, and the fact that the houses are shaped like butts and the doors are like the entrances to the butts is enough for me. Like, I'll laugh at a butt joke every single time you make a butt joke.
Yeah.
So if this cartoon has a bunch of butt jokes in it, I'm in.
There is a lot of butt jokes in this. There's a lot of really just weird and good jokes, and some not good jokes, but whatever. Okay, so that was us chatting about Centaurworld and trying to figure out what happens in the middle of this. I strongly urge you to hop on Netflix and check it out. 10 episodes, very tight. Hopefully, season 2 is going to be announced because I'm interested. I'm super into this. But yeah, so check it out. That's cool. Now, next episode that we're going to do, I think we're going to move over to Saturdays. It seems like a pretty good time for all of our crew to be able to chat about stupid shows and ask dumb questions. So, one of these next upcoming Saturdays, we're going to be doing one of 2 shows, and we're going to discuss it right now live, which is fine. So, the 2 shows that we were thinking about doing was Into the Badlands, which is a really cool kung fu series on AMC. It's 3 seasons. It's on Netflix. Or because we love doing animation and some cartoons, we're also thinking about doing Cowboy Bebop, which
my favorite show.
most of us have not seen all of. So that could be cool too. So we have 4 of us here. 8 seconds. What's your vote for?
We've done a lot of cartoons lately, so Bebop I am interested in, but I would like to split it up at least by 1 week with Into the Badlands.
Cool.
Because
cool.
I've heard, like, I barely talk to Dylan that much. Like, every once in a while I'll talk to Dylan, but like 3 or 4 times a week he'll just message me and he'll be like, "Have you watched Into the Badlands yet?" And I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, "Just fucking chill." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Fucking watch Into the Badlands."
You're gonna be hype about it, man. Like that's the only word I can use to describe it.
Yeah, you're gonna be hype. Okay, B.
All right.
What are you voting for?
That was actually a really good point. I'm gonna vote for Into the Badlands. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And so my vote also is for Into the Badlands, just because great point. Let's at least split up 1 week at least, whatever. It's cool to get into a kung fu series, so why not?
Yeah.
So
I'm really enjoying these cartoons that we're doing, but
me too.
I don't want to make this a cartoon show.
Yeah. So far, cartoons are winning on the shows that I would binge, except for Twin Peaks, I think.
Yeah.
There are other live action shows I hope to forget very quickly. But so next time we're on here, next episode, we're going to be going over Into the Badlands, 3 seasons of some kung fu, right?
Kung fu.
Kung fu. Cool. All right. So let's check that out. So watch the first and last episode of that, and then come on here and help us try to figure out what happens in the middle as we try to find out if there's no time to binge for that. Now, let's talk about where they can find us and say goodbyes and whatever. B, where can people find you?
So you can check out both my podcasts, Deep Lore and Is This Podcast a JoJo Reference, on Spotify, Pandora, pretty much anywhere podcasts are. You can follow my personal Twitter at QueenBethyB. You can also follow my Instagram for cosplay content, b.bethy. That's about it.
Love it.
Yep.
Handsome for 8 seconds. Give it to me.
Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex. Episodes started coming out. I'm so very excited about this season. It's starting way more insane than even me and my neighbor Michael did. So we have a couple episodes that I wrote on, which I'm also very excited about. These are the first episodes that I wrote. So please check that show out. It's crazy. Dylan's going to be on it. Zach's going to be on it. B's going to be on it at some point, even if she doesn't know it yet.
Well, I know it now.
They know everything. They know everything.
I do.
Yeah. And then I have my video game show. I love this terrible game. And then I'm on this show and Real Boys, which the video podcasts are up on YouTube. Audio eventually might come out. I don't know. I'm not in charge of when the audio versions of these shows come out.
Minor editing on the last episode to get it a little more safe for work, but yes.
They're downloaded, ready to be uploaded.
Yes.
Okay. I think there's another one, but I don't remember what it was. So I'm just gonna say follow my Twitter at my neighbor MICH1.
MICH1?
Yeah. My
Which
neighbor MICH1.
Oh, all that. Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. At least half human.
Yeah. Find me here. Real Boys Mondays and every other Fridays, I think, is what we're moving to.
Mm-hmm.
We got Twitching Upstream on most Tuesdays. We got Talking Upstream coming back at some point. We're figuring it out. We're wholly independent again, which is kind of nice. Obviously, Silicon Angels and all of our drama stuff. CYOP Appeal. Got some other things that we're working on in visual and audio. There was a finger raised. What's up?
I remembered my other one. It's the one that I usually let my kid G plug. It's Generation Clash. They're not here today, so
yeah. And then I think that's all I'm on right now.
Yeah, currently, yeah.
Currently.
Yeah. So Real Boys.
Follow me at Vorpal Words on everything.
Yeah.
I do gaming stuff.
Also your newsletter magazine.
Oh yeah, I write for Apostrophe's digital magazine. I'm not in the August one or September. I'm not in the September one, but I'll be in the October one.
Yeah. And you can find me most everywhere. You can find Dylan. Like we have Silicon Angels. We're working on season 2. A podcast show. Season 2 will be out very soon. And Real Boys, yeah, the pandemic thing is messing some stuff up. So we decided to not do the theater shows. So we decided to make the special editions every other Friday. Just we don't want to push people into theaters. That's crazy. Either way, I appreciate anyone for listening or watching this. We love attention, and you give it to us, and thank you for that. So go watch Centaurworld, all of it, and then before next time, watch Into the Badlands. But until then, I love you all, and I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, bye, everybody.
Hello.
And now for something completely different.
What I do is I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch.
Oh, is that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, BoJack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.